I'm Ryan Newman, and since I started with Indiana Donor Network and Driven to Save Lives, I found out that some people think that they can't be an organ donor. The truth is, anyone can sign up to be an organ donor.
Anyone?
Anyone?
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Anyone can sign up to be an organ donor. So don't count yourself out because somebody's counting on you. Go to driventosavelives.org and sign up today.
But my heart's going to you, Ryan.
Love that shirt.
Welcome to the 34 Motorsports Product Showcase. We're proud to offer the full line of Simpson Racing safety products. The Shark Speedway is a perfect brain bucket to keep your melon as safe as possible. We carry every model and size of Hans device, and these have saved countless lives. The Hybrid Pro Lite is an alternative to the Hans device and is just as effective. The DNA 3-layer suit offers maximum protection when things get hot. And hey dude, those comfy shoes won't help one bit when things go south. Keep those hands ready to work with a pair of Vortex FIA gloves meeting every current standard. From 5 to 7 points, we carry every one of the Simpson harnesses, keeping your rear end right where it should be. Keep all your gear clean and together with the helmet and FHR bag, and always be ready to hop in a race car. Visit 34motorsports.com and order today.
Ever hear the one about the frog? Put a frog in a pot of boiling water and it'll jump right out. But put a frog in a pot of cool water and slowly heat it up, and that frog will boil. It's alive. But as a metaphor for us and all that we go through as veterans,
real-world experience.
It's a story that rings true. We make excuses for how we feel. We push everything down. We tell ourselves the lie that it's easier to stay in that boiling water, to disconnect. And some days, maybe, it is. But you've never been interested in easy. Reaching out is hard. Do it anyway. You're not alone. You've got this. You are not a frog.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back here to the National Racing Network. Live coverage tonight of the Indy Pro 2000 Championship coming up for you here from Twin Ring Motegi. We were here just a couple of weeks ago, but tonight it's not going to be on the oval. We're taking on the east layout of the road course, not the full Grand Prix configuration. My name is Chris Graham, joined in the booth tonight by Mr. James Watson, as always. And I'll tell you what, James, this is a neat little layout for these PM18s. Participation numbers have been down a little bit throughout the course of the week, but tonight we've got a full field of 23 cars.
Oh, I can't wait. This is going to be epic because I believe this is a single split, so we're going to have a lot of guys that we don't normally see. And means bigger chance of some more interesting moments and stuff we're not expecting.
Yeah, there's quite a few names that, quite frankly, we may not know here. Taking a look through the list, David Porcelli is here. He's your points leader by a couple hundred points heading into tonight's race. Really interesting battle heating up here, though, for second. It's only 115 points separating Chris Preston from Kylo Ciacelli. At this point, the two teammates, the Limo brothers boys, working with Team Watson Racing, they're going to have a shot here to really lock down the top three. Nicholas Daly, not far behind Nagisa Yoshikawa, is pretty close as well. Outside of maybe Porcelli, 2, 3, 4, 5 is really going to be up for grabs in a big way here.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see what happens with the rest of the top 5. We got a good little free-for-all going, and kind of how we're used to seeing it, with a lot of positions still up for grabs. So I'm curious to see how this all shakes out.
Just about everybody is on the racetrack right now. Chris Preston is who we are following along with at the moment. Talk you through the racetrack a little bit here. Long run down the front straightaway. You dive hard into turn number 1. The quarter falls away from you. Underneath the bridge for the first time through the first set of S's. This is one of the more technical sections of the racetrack. Really a spot, James, where you just can't miss.
No, you're just gonna kill your lap time and just watch in pain as the delta bar just goes redder and redder and redder.
Another long straightaway, followed by another kind of twisty bits here. A medium length straightaway. You head back the left-hander up the hill. This place really, the layout is interesting to me because it's not quite a Spa, Daytona, some of these places where we really see them get draft locked. But with that being said, there's still a lot of time that you can use the draft to full effect and work your way up to the front of the field.
Yeah, there's a lot more corners and a lot less straightaways, so you can't really use the draft as a crutch. You just gotta be on your absolute game, because if you do make the slightest little mistake, like we mentioned earlier, you're just gonna kill your lap because you don't have that big straightaway to keep yourself behind. You have the big main straightaway, but that's kind of it, just a couple regular ones. So if you screw up these corners, you're just dumping seconds off of your time and watching everyone just pull away.
First of the lap times coming in here, you see them up on the left-hand side of your screen. 18 cars have already taken time. Nicholas Daly going to be quickest of the lot at a 1 minute 14.743. About a quarter of a second back to Carl Lemkuhl. Chris Preston going to be right there as well. Your top 4 separated by 4/10. Then it's a full second back to Nagisa Yoshikawa in 5th. This is really, I think, one of the big stories that we're going to see develop here tonight, James, is that with such a big gap in the speed of the field, it's not just going to be a case of, follow the leaders for 3 or 4 cars. There's going to be a lot of different battles to chase around here.
No, it's great. We're going to be having to work the side-by-sides because we're going to see a lot of interesting battles, especially with all the different people.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun one to watch for sure here this evening. And Nicholas Daly's still quick, but David Porcelli with a good second lap. 1 minute 14.73 seconds. 1:14.72 with a 9 for David Porcelli. So he's not far off, about a 10th back. Following along here with Wes Shire as he is working, well, he's already completed his run. Let's pick up Kylo Ciacelli, working lap number 1 of his qualification run. Ted Burns also on the racetrack. Let's pick up Teddy B here as he is about to finish up his lap. This is going to be lap number 2. Lap 1 did not score for Ted Burns. Second week in a row, I believe, or it's at least the second time we've been talking, since I've talked about him. Having to possibly come from deeper in the field if he does not get a lap in this time. Coming across the line, see what lap number 2 looks like for Ted Burns, and it will be good enough for 5th quick. Nice lap for Teddy B, 1:14.971. Kylo Ciacelli, lap number 1, 8th quick on the board, 1:15.519 seconds. And Kylo going to be, he will be the last car to get a lap completed. He will get the lap in. There's 2 minutes left in the qualifying session. Michael Long only getting 1 lap in, and it does not score. So he will line up 23rd on the grid here tonight. At this point, following along with Kylo Ciacelli, going to be the last guy with a shot to get up towards the front of the field here. Seeing the comment coming in here from our buddy Christian Jasper, holy cow, that's foggy. I thought it was weird. One of the drivers sent me a replay earlier so I could kind of get the cameras all done. Oh, and Kylo slides off the racetrack. That will be the end of the qualification run for Kylo Ciacelli. Yeah, I thought it was like my eyes were deceiving me putting up the working on the cameras here, go, man, you really can't see much. And tonight we got the same thing. It's really foggy here at Twin Ring Motegi this week. An unfamiliar racetrack, exactly what you want, James. A place that you don't know all that well, and you make it tough to see the braking points and everything else through all the fog.
Yeah, I feel like I'm back home in the Bay looking at all this fog. It's incredible. It's not going to be too difficult for the drivers, but we're going to mispronouncing cars even worse than we usually do.
Yeah, they're going to make us look a little bit silly here tonight, but that will wrap up qualifications here. It is just about time to go racing. Got to say a big thank you to Jason Owens. He decided not to run this, to keep it as one big split of 23 cars. Jason would have been number 24, and it would have been a 12-car split at that point. So thank you, JO6. We appreciate it.
Actually, I think he is still in the race, actually.
Is he? Oh, yeah, he is. I'm sorry. I just didn't look that far down. Jason Owens running 21st tonight. So basically, it's like he's not here. So that's harsh. Let's take a look. Yes, it is. Field getting lined up on the grid. Just a couple of cars left to get out here. But let's get a look at the starting grid because it is a short pace lap here. Nicholas Daly going to be your pole sitter with a lap time of 1 minute 14.627. Lining up alongside, only a 10th back, will be David Porcelli. Chris Preston, Carl Lemkool going to occupy row number 2. Ted Burns and Nagisa Yoshikawa on row number 3. Row 4 will see Brian Labarge and Kylo Ciacelli. All the championship contenders are here in the top 8. Going to be a fun one to watch at the front for sure. Westshire and a nice run for Mike Holler as well. Both of those guys going to be on row number 5. Row 6 will have Rod Eskew and Russ Addy. Row number 7 will have Stephen C. Thompson and Dylan Vilashinsky. Brian Karszewski and Benjamin Bachman on row number 8. Tyler Stover, Daniel Smith on row 9. Row 10, Nick Camargo and Jacob Collins. There's our buddy Jason Owens alongside Derek Love on row number 11. And all alone on row number 12 will be the 23 of Michael Long lining up in the 23rd position. We've got a name I know that maybe you don't hear, James. Connor Allen, our buddy from the National Racing Network, one of our reporters checking in saying Connor Daly could never. Yeah, I'll agree with you on that one there. Field going to make their way through the last couple of corners. They're going to get tightly packed up behind the iRacing Porsche safety car. Well, it's the Porsche. It's not a Porsche, I guess. Christian Jasper saying, Motegi Road is a fun course. Only run the whole thing, but it looks like this part of the course is the bigger sections. Yeah, it basically only cuts out the section where you kind of hook around the infield of the oval. You basically just don't make the left-hand turn, run back underneath the oval, kind of do the little loop through there, and then it spits you back out here. Nice layout. This one is going to be... Get the schedule pulled up here. 24 laps, not a very long lap in terms of time. So this one is going to be pretty quick in terms of how quickly we get this thing all wrapped up. Should be a good show. Good look there at Nicholas Daly and David Porcelli on the front row. Porcelli trying to protect a championship lead. Chris Preston trying to keep hold of second place, but teammate Kylo Ciacelli just a couple of rows back. Going to be a good one through the final hairpin. Field's going to snake their way around. Green flag goes in the air. We are underway here at Twin Ring Motegi, and it is a great start for Nicholas Daly, jumping out ahead of David Porcelli. Preston Lemcool, see if anybody's going to make the big dive bomb up the inside into turn number 1. Not quite. Top 3 going to be settled. No, maybe not. Oh, man, Chris Preston really battling hard there with Carl Lemcool.
Whoa, that was a big wiggle.
Ooh, almost contact back in the pack as well. Wes Shire is going to be in the middle of a mess. He's going to have Russati and Brian Labarge coming ahead of him. Also, Rod Eskew working the outside of that corner. Maybe a little bit of damage for Wes Shire. He's fallen back quickly.
Yeah, I think he's in trouble.
Everybody towards the front settling in. I kind of have a hunch that maybe this turns into a race where everybody's just going to behave themselves, at least until late in the race. Well, I say that, and Chris Preston going to have to fight off Ted Burns. Things a little bit tight at the front here as well. Teddy B with the big look down to the inside towards turn 1. Absolutely nothing Preston can do to defend that one.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if you really can behave yourself. Oh, I think you kind of got to make moves.
Oh, one car way off the racetrack. That was Mike Holler sliding way off the racetrack.
Wow.
Good Lord. Hold up on that one. Get you a look at the Hot Shoe Racewear instant replay. Not sure what happened. Oh, he just clipped the outside of the curb a little bit. Nice save, Mike Holler.
Yeah, I was expecting to see a wheel flopping around when we got back to him. That's a shame, though. He had a great qualifying effort. He was up there. Whoa, big send.
Oh, there's Wes Shire going for a ride as well. Oh, man, a little bit trying to squeeze just a little. That's Brian Karszewski trying to squeeze Mike Holler to the outside. This is the battle back for 13th and 14th on the racetrack as it stands right now. Let's take a look a little bit further forward here. Things getting spicy at the front. Nicholas Daly, David Porcelli, Carl Lemcool starting to catch in. Here's Porcelli up the inside of Daly. Porcelli out to the head of the line. A little bit further back, Russati, Brian Labarge.
Nice move around the outside.
Man, I'll tell you what, head back here towards the front of the field and pick the leaders up once again. David Porcelli not able to check out, and I think that's that little bit of draft that you get down the straightaways. Keep it close to the twisty bits. Oh, big save, Carl Lemcool, but going to open up the door for Ted Burns down the front stretch. Teddy B with a big send. He's going to pick up position at number 3. New fastest lap of the race. 5th place running Chris Preston. 1 minute 15.275. Early troubles for Mike Long, Benjamin Bachman, and Daniel Smith. All 3 of those drivers now appear to be out of this race very early on here at Twin Ring Motegi. I get this comment up here from Christian. I feel like this track is underused unless other series keep it on their schedule. Yeah, I don't know how many do run it. I can't imagine it's a ton, though. It feels like this is one of those places it's great to race on, but because it's not named Spa or Daytona, it's just not going to get a lot of action.
Yeah, I think a lot of people might find it a little too difficult. I feel like it might kind of fall under the same category that Barber, Sonoma, VIR tend to fall under, and it's a shame. This course is great. I really wish more series would run it. I've been able to run it a few times in a bunch of different things, and I honestly have not had a bad time on it. I've suffered more on the oval than I have on the road course, really.
Yeah, this is I'll tell you what, both courses here at Motegi, both the road course and the oval, they're tough. They're not easy to drive. And Christian making a comment, super fun to lap, difficult to pass, but not impossible. Especially with a car like this, where you can really kind of toss it around a little bit. It's not totally aero locked in. This one really has the potential to be a fun race every time we head here. Wow, big dive from Teddy B into turn one. He was third and about 20 car lengths back, and now he's going to be only 3 or 4 back as they work through turn 3. I'll tell you what, James, you and Christian need to get out of each other's heads here. This might be a stretch, but it feels kind of like an Eastern Sonoma,
yes,
but smoother.
So that's why I like this track.
Yeah, and I kind of see that. It's flowy.
Yeah, Yeah, it doesn't really have the elevation change that Sonoma does, but it's got a good flow to it. There's a lot of tough corners with some good braking zones. Maybe a few more braking zones and quality passing opportunities here as opposed to Sonoma. But yeah, it's a track that I don't think a whole lot of people can grasp, and because of that, it's just not used as much as it really should.
I think that's an interesting one because the impression I get is fairly technical, sort of like Sonoma is. It's a driver's racetrack. If you're looking for long straightaways with huge dive bomb passing areas and stuff, you're going to get that into turn one, maybe another spot or two on the racetrack. The rest of it is about hitting your marks, almost like Road Atlanta in that respect, where you just have to be technically very good in the driver's seat.
Yeah, and if you're just off your game a little bit, off your mark a little bit, well, we saw what happened to Haller earlier in the race.
So now down to 17 laps to go. It's a third of a second at the front of the field and then another 0.2 back. So your top three are pretty tight. Good battle here. Chris Preston trying to come around Carl Lemkool. He was able to get up the inside. Wow, big gas though by Lemkool under the bridge. Able to grab that spot back from Preston and open it up to about 0.4 of a second. Looked like Preston may have bobbled just a little bit there, but Daniel Smith getting back onto the racetrack after 10 minutes and 13 seconds on the pit lane.
He has not been having a good season so far. It's a shame. What even happened to him? Do we even catch that?
Yeah, let me see. No, didn't see an off track, didn't see an incident, saw absolutely nothing.
Man, I wonder what happened.
Battle for second, heating up down towards turn number 1. Ted Burns going to be able to clear before they even get to the corner. Man, Teddy B is going to be chasing down David Porcelli. Let's see, before this gets too spicy at the front here, they come looping through the corner, under the bridge. Let's give you at home a chance to crank it up. Man, I absolutely love the sound these Indy Pro cars make. I know a lot of people think they're a little whiny, but they make a fun noise, both on the iRacing platform here and seeing them in the real world at New Jersey Motorsports Park. It is a fun-sounding race car.
Yeah, like you kind of want an open-wheel car to have a high-pitched whine like this, and it's kind of disappointing when they don't. Like, I don't know how you can realistically make it sound any better because it just sounds so good.
The only thing you can do to make a Formula car sound better is to add more cylinders at higher revs. Give me a shrieking F1 V12 motor. Good God. They were incredible.
I agree.
Or I will make Wes Shire happy here if he watches back the broadcast. The Mazda Rotary that ran at Le Mans. Oh my God, that car was one of the loudest things I have ever heard. And the noise was just ear-splitting. It was beautiful.
Yes, that is one of my all-time favorite cars right there.
Let's take a look here. This battle, it's staying about pretty close to Pat here for just a minute. So we'll slide back, pick up Rod Eskew and Dylan Wieleszynski battling for the 10th position. Wieleszynski thought about the move up the inside. Not quite going to be good enough, but that one settles down. The other one that was starting to close up a little bit was Kylo Ciacelli and Carl Lemkool. Kylo able to get himself up into the 5th position. Kylo will be back joining me in the booth on Tuesday nights for the TNT Shock Series coming up, I guess, next week? Yeah, next week we'll be back with round number 2 of the Shock Series. Round 1 at Iowa. Round number 2 coming up on the 15th, heading off to New Smyrna. That's going to be fun.
It's going to be disaster, and I'm here for it. I love that track.
Mike Holler battling now with Wieleszynski. Holler going to try the move up the outside. Oh, a little bit of a bobble for Dylan. May let Holler come past, and it does as they head down the front stretch. Trying to catch up to Rod Eskew here at the same time. Oh, we got another comment coming in here, James. You love this one. Tasty. The 787B, let's go. Yes.
Yes.
Oh, my God, I love that car. Always had great liveries on it as well, too.
Yes. The green and orange is iconic.
Battle for the lead. Way tight at this point. Porcelli trying to hold off Ted Burns. Little bit of a twitch for both drivers exiting the corner. I wonder, take a look here at what the weather conditions are. 100% humidity. Wind's
Oh my God.
It's basically raining at Motegi. Cloudy skies, 67-degree track temperature. Cold, wet, I guess damp, moist, if you want to use those kind of fun words. That really can be difficult to get the tires up to temperature. I mean, imagine they're good by now, but it's almost like the racetrack is slick when the conditions are this cold and overcast the way they are.
Yeah, I suppose that explains all the fog now, doesn't it? Good Lord. I hate racing when there's like 50% humidity, 100% humidity. Like, this is for all the people complaining that iRacing needs to add rain. We already got it. What more moisture do you want?
Yeah, really. I can just picture, like, bottom split, like C-Class Indy Fixed or something driving in the rain. God, what a dumpster fire that would be.
Oh, math chaos, and we're here for it.
Yes. If we get rain at the ovals, that will be the Coke and a Smile race. Just doing some discussing of that one today. I don't know if we broadcast that one. I may just drive in it and put up a second feed or something.
I would prefer you to drive in it just to add to the chaos.
Yes, it's always good to have a guy with 3 digits in his I rating running in a race. Big dive bomb from Mike Holler on Rod Eskew. Nice pass there into turn 1. And Christian Jasper saying gearing up for the rain update. No, no thank you. But yes, the Coke and a Smile race coming up here in the month of December. I would imagine we're probably going to run some practice sessions just because it is so stupid fun. But I don't remember, I think the original Coke and a Smile was like the COT car, the Indy car.
No, you're kind of getting it mixed up with the Beef and the Smile. The original was the IR01, the IR18, the PM18, and the Silver Crown.
At iRacing Super Speedway.
Yeah.
Multi-class insanity at 240 miles an hour. Didn't we have the Skippies in it too?
We tried, but it just didn't work. We didn't have the Skippies until Crownhurst, when things really started to go off the rails.
That's right. What a great pass, by the way, there by Carl Lemkool down into turn number 1. Kylo Ciacelli trying to fight back here in the battle for the 5th position. Take a look a little deeper in the field. West Shire, Jacob Collins battling for 17th.
Good comeback from Wes. We saw him in the sand trap not too long ago.
Down to 10 to go here at the Motegi East Road Course layout. This is what I love about the big split races, especially when you have a little bit wider gap in the field. You just end up with these nice little battles of cars that are, and more importantly, drivers that are fairly equally matched, whether it's talent versus setup or just all around, whatever it is. But you end up with these little pockets of good racing. There's always something to take a look at.
Yeah, you're always going to have a lot of fun with these single split races. And thankfully, the level of talent in the PM18 is high enough to where a single split isn't full of chaos. You have, like, legitimately good, clean racing here.
Yeah, the only exception I would say to that is when we go visit Summit Point, but we need that back on the schedule.
we do.
Let's see, a little bit deeper in the field here. Dylan Vilashinsky and Steven Thompson. Vilashinsky in the Valvoline colors. Steven C. Thompson. Let's take a look. Get the little zoom in here. Pony Express on the side of that one. That's beautiful. Let's see. This comment is too long to show. But Christian Jasper saying, been hardcore focusing on the IndyCar lately. I should pull up some of the IP2K, I mean USF Pro 2000 officials soon. Yes, you should. I may have to start calling it that too, just to aggravate some of the diehards.
Slash NXT.
Yes. We're going full pro wrestling on the road to Indy Ladder. Oh, back to the lead, back to the battle. Porcelli and Burns back to within about a quarter second of each other as we're down to 8 laps to go. Almost wonder if this isn't kind of developing into a spot where Teddy Burns just feels absolutely no need to make the pass. There's just no reason to push yet.
Yeah, I'm just going to say, this is really starting to become the theme of the last few weeks. Just nothing but Ted versus David here.
Yes, now that Ted Burns' travel schedule is allowing him to run the races, they're always fun. So would that mean that USF Pro 2000 is ROH? Yeah, I don't know. Let's rebrand for the sake of needless rebranding.
To a name that's already linked to something else. That will be the first thing that someone thinks about when they hear that, and not your company.
Yeah, I don't get the rebrand of Indy Lights to NXT. That one just does not make sense to me. The whole Indy Pro and I understand, I think, why Anderson Promotions did this. I don't think there is a connection anymore between IndyCar and the road to Indy, if that makes sense. Oh, big bobble for Porcelli, but yeah, I think that the connection isn't necessarily there anymore. And I wonder if it doesn't have some things to do with how super license points are acquired and distributed. Yeah, I don't know. It seems like a silly rebranding effort.
Yeah. You gotta love it. Just a good example of what not to do in marketing.
Christian saying F1 becomes NJPW since drivers tend to go from there to IndyCar. Yes. Down to 5 to go. It's going to be Porcelli leading Ted Burns. Man, Teddy drives so deep into turn 1. He picks up a third of a second, almost half a second on corner entry at turn 1. It's almost like he's just toying with them at this point.
Yeah, he's just waiting for the right time to make a move. And like we've seen him make it right at that perfect time the last couple of races.
Christian saying last of the late breakers.
Yes.
Yes. In a big way, yes. Oh, he is going to be tucked right up underneath. Interesting, Porcelli goes to the inside. He's going to try to cover off the inside lane. Oh, they're close. Oh, that's tight. Oh, they're almost making contact.
God.
They're
Oh my
still
God.
side by side.
Oh, that was ballsy. Oh, David just putting it on the table right there. Sheesh.
Nut up and ball
could
out
not-
into turn one. Good Lord.
You cannot put a piece of paper between those cars.
I can't believe we're down to only 3 weeks left in the season after this one as well. And next week we get more Screamin' James Watson as we're back for Oval Week. The Indy Pro PM18s at Iowa Speedway. Yes, please. Followed up with the Daytona International Speedway Road Course, and then we go to Mosport. Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. Yes, please. All three. I'll tell you what, the battling here between Porcelli and Burns has really allowed Nicholas Daly to catch back up, too.
Yeah, he came from out of nowhere. I kind of thought it was a two-horse race. Even at a track like this, just shows you how big the draft is.
Yeah, that toe down the front straightaway is huge. Matt Wagner saying, I'll be in it, making my season debut. Are you talking about the Shock Series race at Iowa? That'd be interesting.
Nah, I think he's talking about the SOF race. Let's go.
No, he's saying Iowa is my track. Matt Wagner heading to the TNT Shock Series. That's some news.
Graham, you do realize that we already ran Iowa last week, right?
Oh. Oh, then he's running here this week. So he's running the PM18s. Sorry. My brain's a little foggy still.
It's all the Guinness.
Oh. More than Jameson. Good Lord. That will be, we'll have to have an off-air discussion for some of these things. Lap traffic getting moved out of the way. Still Porcelli, Burns, and Daly. Chris Preston not gaining a ton. He's gaining a little bit, but still about 2 seconds back of the race leader. Two to go. When does Teddy B try to make the move, and is he going to get any drafting help from Nicholas Daly?
I predict another send into turn one here.
Oh, man. White flag is out. 1 lap to go. I don't think Teddy B is close enough as they head down towards turn one for the final time. He's going to late break in again. Closes the gap up to about 2 car lengths as they head for turn two. But now the move's going to have to come in a different spot, and quite frankly, a place that Porcelli hasn't seen a pass attempted yet.
Yeah, we're gonna need a ballsy move from Ted B if he's gonna have anything for him.
Oh, he's right there.
Ooh.
Where does the move come? Porcelli a little bit wide on the apex there, allowed Burns to catch back up.
Yeah, but he got a great exit off of the corner, though.
Sitting about half
Yeah.
a car length back.
He's sending it. Oh, I think he sent it too much.
Off the final corner, twin checkers in the air. David Porcelli's going to get the win at Motegi. Ted Burns, Nicholas Daly going to come home second and third. Pick up a little bit further back in the pack here. Rod Eskew, Stephen Thompson, Dylan Vilashinsky. This is 11th, 12th, and 13th. Well, I was about to say the tightest battle, but now we've got another one here. Oh, Holler and Rossetti make contact in the final corner. Both cars able to continue. Rossetti finishes 9th. Mike Holler 10th. Rod Eskew going to hold on for 11th. Wow. Show you the replay here on Rossetti and Mike Holler. Holler tries to stick it up the inside. Both cars just basically come to a stop. Didn't look like either one of them sustained any major damage. They're able to continue. And that's where they're going to finish. But there is your race winner, David Porcelli. He is going to absolutely burn them down here at the start-finish line. That is a well-executed donut there. Practically signing his name. Let's take a look at the race results. Porcelli getting the win by a quarter of a second, maybe a third of a second over Ted Burns. Nicholas Daly completes the podium. Chris Preston and Carl Lemkool the top 5. 6 through 10 going to be Kylo Ciacelli, Nagisa Yoshikawa, Brian Labarge, Russ Addy, and Mike Holler. Rod Eskew, Stephen Thompson, Dylan Vilashinsky, Brian Karszewski, and Wes Shire back to the 15th position. 16 through 20 this evening, Tyler Stover, Neat Camargo, Jason Owens, Jacob Collins, and Derek Love. Daniel E. Smith, Mike Long, and Benjamin Bachman will round out the field here this evening. Not a bad race at all. Getting the comment in here from Tasty. That was a super race. Yeah, that was fun. I really enjoyed that one. Let's see. We'll get our victory lane interviews ready to go here. We'll start them off with our third place finisher. Bring Nicholas Daly up into the booth with us here. And I'll tell you what, Nicholas, not a bad run. The car looked really good in qualifying. Talk us through how the night went for you.
Yeah, qualifying was good. I was able to get a pretty good lap in, so I'm happy to take another pole position on the broadcast, which is awesome. So, yeah, I thought I was going to be able to have the pace for the win, but too many mistakes.
Yeah, and that was. It seems like this is a kind of place where little mistakes really cost you a whole lot because it's either a mid-corner bobble or something that's going to cost you the corner exit speed. You get out onto these long straightaways and it just absolutely kills the lap time.
Right. Yeah, especially in that turn 4 and 5 where you should stay flat, but it's just barely flat, so it's difficult. Sometimes I had to lift just to keep the car from going all over the place. But yeah, it does cost you the run. And yeah, then David was able to dive down the inside there, turn 6.
Well, yeah, and I'll tell you what, in terms of the points, this was a pretty good week for you as well. Going to pick up a little bit here on Kylo after the race tonight. Top 3 is definitely in the cards. Maybe second in points even by the time this season's over.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Need a few more good points finishes for the rest of the races that are left.
All right, bud. Well, thank you very much for checking in with us. We appreciate it here. And before we let you go, make sure you get all those sponsor plugs and thank yous in.
Yeah, shout out to Downforce Racing. Thank you guys for doing all this setup work, and we did a bunch of practicing. So really appreciate Ted and Carl. And I want to say thanks to all my friends watching, Mark, and yep, that's it. Thanks.
All right, buddy. We appreciate you checking in with us here. And now let's bring up our second place finisher tonight here, Mr. Ted Burns. And man, I tell you what, bud, it seems like every week now we're getting to talk to you here. And the car was really good. I think it was probably that move with 2 to go that was absolutely insane and kind of where that was the race decider.
Oh yeah, it was really intense. Props to David. I love racing that guy. We can go side to side like that. We have a lot of trust in each other and just really pushing each other to the limit. And that was so much fun. Kind of bummed I came out on the back end of that and couldn't quite get him, but it was just a great race, and he drove amazing. So props to him. I was pushing as hard as I could, and just couldn't quite get up there or force that big mistake.
Yeah, that was one of the things we talked about a little bit during the race was the fact that this feels significantly like a driver's track. Not necessarily a place you're going to see all sorts of crazy passes and shenanigans, whatever. But just that having to hit the mark every time is what makes this place fun to drive.
Yeah, it is. It's such a tricky track, and just learning it all week, it was a constant compromise, and it was like, do I carry more speed in this corner or less speed? What's actually quicker over the lap, and just trying to preserve and find that consistency, because it was just a really hard track to be consistent at. So yeah, it was really just coming down to driving to the tire, driving the car, and I made a couple changes, late right before the race, trying to really make sure I could have the car placed exactly where I wanted it to, and maybe that cost me a little bit in outright speed, but it sure felt planted, and I could really keep pushing David there. And I mean, his car was sideways in every corner. I don't know how he held on to it, but the thing was fast. So.
Well, I'll tell you what, it was fun to watch you guys tonight. We appreciate you hanging out with us here in the booth for a couple of minutes. And before we let you go, get all those sponsor plugs and thank yous taken care of.
Yeah, for sure. First off, got to thank Downforce Racing. We put all three of our cars up in the top 5 tonight, which is huge, and had a great night qualifying. So, props to the whole team for getting the setup worked out and just everyone getting up to pace. Thanks everyone for coming out, making this almost a split. I know it's been a bit light participation this week, but I think it just goes to show that it's such an awesome series when you get everyone out here racing. And thanks to you guys for putting on the broadcast. Can't wait to watch it back.
All right, bud. Well, thank you much. We appreciate the kind words. And now it's time to talk to our race winner. Guy I haven't gotten to talk to in a couple of weeks anyway, but man alive. David Porcelli, Teddy was just saying your car looked like it was loose and all over the place, and he had no idea how you were holding on to it. Was it as exciting inside the cockpit as it looked from outside?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And you are welcome to go check the stream to see. I'm pretty sure my light blue shirt went down like 4 or 5, maybe even 6 shades because of how many bullets were sweat from me. So, yeah.
Talk us through that battle with like 2 to go. Obviously, Ted was late breaking turn 1 all night long. You knew that was coming. You moved to the inside to cover, and then you ran side by side for the next 3 or 4 corners.
Yeah, wow, what a battle. It was really exciting to have Ted back there and keep me honest. I mean, ideally, I don't have to work so hard, but it was a really exciting race, and I knew I had the pace to keep him back there. So once he got alongside me, it was a matter of just securing that battle. And then my car was a bit trimmed out, so that I had a little bit of defense heading down those straights. It was really just a matter of getting my exits out of the critical corners to make sure he wasn't in a position to attack, and I felt pretty confident I'd be able to take home the win.
When it comes to the setup, when you're looking at the track conditions like we had them tonight, does that play a role at all with how you decide to make any setup changes, whether you're going to have a little bit more downforce because the air is heavy and cool, or Does that go into the thought process at all?
Holy shit. You have like a crystal ball there? Because I have to say, usually not. Like many tracks, the weather is such that you could get a 10-degree swing, but it's not going to impact the amount of downforce you want to run. You might see a slight rake or damper adjustment in order to compensate for greasy conditions or something like that. But this week, oh my God, the difference between the 715 and the 915 track conditions was huge, and I think it caught a lot of people out. I was actually tuned for these cooler conditions and just crossing my fingers that's what we would get. I started experimenting between the two races because I saw how 715 had gone, thinking, oh no, like I'm gonna get caught out with this hot weather. I need to have a setup ready to go, and then we loaded into the session, and sure enough, it was the one I had built my car for. So yeah, this week we had to make those adjustments, but it's not a common thing.
Well, I'll tell you what, not so much a crystal ball as blind squirrel finding a nut once in a while, but I appreciate the kind words. And man, I tell you what, that was a fun show to watch with you and Teddy B there up at the front. Thank you much for it. We really appreciate it. And before we let you go, get all those sponsor plugs and thank yous taken care of.
Yeah, thanks so much. Wow, where do I begin? It's getting really exciting heading into this off season for racing and everything. I want to thank National Racing Network. You guys have been like a huge source of happiness for me over the past year, and that means a lot to me. And this has been like such a blast. I'm really looking forward to heading into the professional racing industry trade show in a month or so, and I might be getting back in a real car soon. So I'm like really, really feeling good. I'm trying to lock away this championship. So huge shout out to Satellite Racing, Team Watson Racing. As always, hi to the family, and thanks everyone for checking out the broadcast, and I'll see you in the booth next week.
All right, buddy. Well, we appreciate you hanging out with us. Good Lord. Put that kid behind the wheel of a real race car that could be
no
scary.
kidding.
A lot of talent there, man. Well, I'll tell you what, James, we got a heck of a show out of this one tonight. Next week, we're heading off for Oval Week, but before we start thinking about that, let's wrap this thing up. Once again, just an absolutely epic show from David Porcelli and Ted Burns.
Yeah, it was epic. It's everything what we wanted this race to be. We were hoping that with it being a little bit of a different layout than what we're used to, we would see a lot more side-by-side action. And when they were side-by-side, that was absolutely awesome.
Yeah, it was a ton of fun. And we got a bunch coming up here over the next couple of weeks. We'll be back, Tuesday night with the TNT Shock Series at New Smyrna. Then we head off to Iowa Speedway for the Indy Pro 2000 Championship. Also have the Ezra IndyCar Series coming up. Note the time changes on this one. Daylight savings time screws us up a little bit. The Ezra IndyCar Series races will now start at 8 p.m. in the East, followed by the Indy Pro 2000 Championship at 9:15 for the last 3 weeks of the season. We're looking forward to all of that. Also, the Sim Racers Club on Wednesday night. They're down to just a couple of races left to go in their season as well. But with that, time for James and I to get the heck on out of here. For James and everybody here at the National Racing Network that makes these shows happen, my name is Chris Graham. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We will talk to you all soon. Have a good night, everybody.